Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Christo Mac, and this is the Christo Mac Show. Today is Saturday, November 21st, and this is going to be totally about the election 2020 and why I no longer support Donald Trump. So, right now, the total votes are as follows. Joe Biden currently has 79.8 million votes, and Donald Trump has 73.7 million votes. And Joe Biden is up by about 4 points. It's 51.1% to 47.2% for Donald Trump in the populist vote, which does not matter. As far as the electorate votes, Joe Biden has 306. You need 270 to win, and Donald Trump has 232. That is including Arizona, Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, and Wisconsin, all for Joe Biden. So, in the past, I have been a supporter of Donald Trump. Right, like, I like his policies. He has good policies. I mean, in my opinion, he appears to be putting America first. He's good with the deals, the trade deals with China. But I regret that I voted for him in this past election. I really do. And I'm going to tell you why. So Donald Trump, I've never seen anything like it. It's so hard to articulate it in a way that comes out in a coherent statement, because for some reason Donald Trump has so many people that hate him. I've never seen somebody hate a president the way people hate Donald Trump. And I always was like, who cares, right? I mean, in my opinion, all politicians are corrupt in one way or another. They all do backroom deals. They all are pretty much, most of them are there for personal gain, right? They go into the office, whichever office, right? Whether it be the House of Representatives, a senator, the governor. Most people inherently want to make a difference for the better, right? So they go into politics to make a difference. But what happens is, it's so hard to project yourself in a position that you never really thought, right? And then next thing you know, you're in a meeting and you're dealing with very powerful people with lots of money, and you realize that, wait, I could get this piece of property for, really cheap, or whatever. Like Nancy Pelosi benefited from acres of land for really cheap that she would have never got if she wasn't in the position that she is in. She only knew about it because of her position, and that's the point, and her power, which is insane. And she capitalized. So we look down on them for that, because it's insane to think that the average American is somewhat suffering, especially in this COVID crisis, and these politicians have handed out one stimulus, and we're talking about millions of people literally don't know where they're going to get their next meal. It's really sad. It's sad. And I still voted for Donald Trump because I didn't realize, lots of people on the left said he wants to be king, he's a dictator, he's a tyrant, all politicians are tyrants, right? Anybody who wants power is a tyrant. You can be a good tyrant, though. Just because you're a tyrant doesn't mean you're bad, per se. Most of the time it does, but it's just a bad word. Tyrant sounds like, oh, tyrant. Saddam Hussein was a tyrant. Well, George Bush was a tyrant. I mean, he murdered millions of people the same way Saddam Hussein supposedly did. He just did it, Bush just did it in a different way. That's it, right? He did it with his U.S. Army, so it must be good. But that's not true. So there's a lot of blurred lines when it comes to the world and the United States, right? So if it's looked upon as when the United States goes to war, that's not the, and the United States kills a bunch of people, that's okay. But when another leader from another country does it, they're a tyrant and they gotta go, right? It's really ignorant. Because you got to understand, perspective is everything, and perception is reality. So just put yourself in the other person's shoes, growing up in Iraq, growing up wherever, right? It's easy to see why people hate America, because look at us. From the outside looking in, it looks like we think we're better than everyone, which I don't, but from the outside, right? We're talking about countries that don't even have access to clean drinking water. It's just really messed up, but I don't want to go there. What I do want to touch on is, again, Donald Trump. So what he is doing by not conceding this election and saying there's widespread fraud because he has affidavits, because people will say anything. I don't care what an affidavit is. We're talking about people that have no idea what they saw, and they're saying what they saw, which some of them may be truthful, but it doesn't mean fraud. And I've noticed that the Trump supporters, the people that actually still support Donald Trump, are on this thing that Joe Biden has stole the election. But the truth is, Donald Trump is trying to literally steal this election. So he's bringing all these court cases, and most of them have no bearance. In fact, most of them, if not all, will not overturn the election unless they toss out, we're talking 400,000 plus ballots in Pennsylvania. Like, the things he's asking for is un-American and ridiculous. Like, Rudy Giuliani went to a Pennsylvania court and literally asked the judge to throw out over 300,000 votes. So he's basically saying he doesn't want your vote to count because it was for Biden. Like, that's insane, with no actual evidence or facts to back up why, other than they're suspect. Oh, okay. Let's just throw them out then. The people's vote don't count. So then what Donald Trump is doing, he's meeting with two Michigan canvassers, which it's not going to come of anything in my opinion, but the point is what he's trying to do is have these, so each state has to certify with the electorate college, and the way it is whoever won that state, the certification goes for them. But Trump is trying to say, no, don't certify. Don't certify it for Joe Biden. Certify it for me. I don't care what the people want. That's essentially what he's trying to tell these people. That's what he's trying to do. Right? So when Georgia goes to certify, he wants Georgia to certify for him, even though Biden won Georgia. Well, Trump's trying to say, nope, those were illegal votes. So you don't have to certify for Biden. But it's like you're basically discounting the people's vote then. Then why do we have an election, Don? The problem is Donald Trump is backed into a corner. He is petrified to leave office because of all his legal ramifications. So he will do anything, as you probably know or don't know if you're a Trump supporter. He will do almost anything to stay in office because he knows once he leaves, him and his family are at risk of going to prison, and legally and financially, lots and lots of bad things could happen. So he'll do anything to stay in office. He wants to if he could, he would stay in office forever. And I never really believed that, right? I mean, people would say, oh, he wants to be king. I'm like, yeah, right. He's not going to stay in office. Give me a break. But now that I'm watching this play out, he would. He don't care because he truly just cares about himself. And that's his problem. This is what made me turn on Donald Trump. It was yesterday, actually. Is when I literally just turned. Like, no more. I'm not dealing with this. Number one, he's trying to con me and lie to me by claiming widespread election fraud, which I do not believe. So he's using me as a pawn and the American people that believe him. That's what he's doing. Right? He's trying to use you. And then these people come out and support Donald Trump because they believe there's widespread election fraud. But the truth is, Donald Trump knows there's no real widespread election fraud. He's trying to steal the election. He is trying to steal the election. It is horrendous what he's doing. But what made me really turn on him was, I read this article, and I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate. So I'm going to make that clear. But I do believe there are facts within this that are accurate. And Donald Trump is looking into if he could pardon himself and his family for future crimes. Okay. So I believe I'm a good person. At least I try to be a good person. And I can tell when someone's not a good person. And if someone that's a president, okay, is looking into pardoning themselves for future crimes, in my opinion, that's a bad person. Like, why would you even think of that, right? Like, if you're a good person, that won't even cross your mind. What are you talking about for future? What crimes are you going to, like, I don't plan on committing any future crimes, right? I don't care about a pardon. That's the way I think. That's the way most good people think. Instead, Donald Trump, because he's a bad person, and that's truly what I believe. He is a tyrant. He is the end-all, be-all. He thinks he knows everything, but he's so ignorant on so many subjects. Like, hearing him talk about fracking is embarrassing. Hearing him talk about healthcare is embarrassing. He wants to get rid of Obamacare, which is great. I'm not a fan of Obamacare. But what the scary thing is, we're in a COVID crisis. Hey, Don, you're aware that if the Supreme Court does rule on getting rid of Obamacare, which they've been in session talking about, the Supreme Court has right now, he has nothing to put in place. There's nothing there. People are like, oh, he'll replace it with something better. Okay, but what about in the meantime? So right now during this crisis, they're going to repeal Obamacare, and then you are aware that millions of Americans will have no insurance until he replaces it with something better, whenever that is, which he's never put forth any idea of how to do that. Think about that. Like, the actual reality is, okay, he'll replace it with something better. That's what he claims. No plan to. But it's not like he could do it tomorrow. So in the meantime, what are these people going to do when Obamacare gets repealed? What are these people going to do? I mean, think about it. Like, anybody that's affected by Obamacare, what are they going to do? Wait for Donald Trump to put something better in place? Wow. When is that going to be? Because they're dealing with COVID right now. They need health insurance right now. So that's pretty much why I do no longer support Donald Trump, and you shouldn't either. And don't let him steal this election. Don't let him con you into believing there's widespread fraud with no evidence. Okay? That's my opinion. Tell me what you think. Please like this video if you're on YouTube, and subscribe, and give me some comments. Thank you.